In the last video, we looked at a couple of examples of how to solve quadratic equations. So let's have a look at another. X squared plus 4x minus 6 equals 0. When solving something like this, in our last video we said we need to look for something that multiplies together to give you minus 6, but adds together to give you positive 4. So let's write these out. So minus 1 times 6 gives you negative 6, but also plus 1 and minus 6. Minus 2 and positive 3, or 2 and negative 3. Now, do any of these add up to give you positive 4? They don't. So we've got to find a different way of solving this equation. And what we're going to do is something called completing the square. So we're going to look at just the first two terms here, the ones involving x. And we're going to try and write it as a bracket of x plus or minus something squared. So if we want to get this positive 4x, we need to half it. Now, why does that work? Well, if we have a side note here, when we expand this bracket, x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2, x times x squared. X times 2, 2x. 2 times x, 2x. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now, if we simplify this term, this gives us the plus 4x. But if we note at the end, there's another term here that we didn't have in our original equation. So we need to get rid of that as well. If we simplify, now we can solve this. We've got a minus 10 here. How do we get rid of a minus 10? Well, we add 10. And what we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. X plus 2 squared equals 10. Now, everything on the left-hand side is being squared, so we can square root at this point. X plus 2 equals the square root of 10. But if we remember, we've got to have that plus or minus. Now, final step, I'm just going to squeeze it in at the bottom. We've got a plus 2, so we're going to subtract 2 from each side.